Alright, I'm going to be really bad and do this on my drive home because otherwise you're just going to get a crappy laptop video because it's going to be too dark by the time I get home to do anything fun. Um, so for Sarah's question, it was what we've gotten into with our siblings and not told our parents. And I'm going to have to kind of go with some of Cody's answer. I was not a total goody two shoes, but I think combined with the fact that I didn't like to get in a whole lot of trouble, and my sister and I have never really been particularly close, I don't really have a good example. I've actually been scouring my brain trying to think of something, and either my memory is really bad, which is entirely possible, or there's really nothing there, and I can't think of a single bonding experience really that we had that we were both against our parents for. So instead, I'll say my best friend in high school, Becca, who we did tend to get into a little bit of trouble with. Becca's dad was the principal of our high school. I was actually telling Kat about this earlier today. So while that had a lot of potential to really get us into more trouble, usually we ended up getting away with more than we should. And we all had, she and another one of our friends had advanced French class right before lunch. It was actually, the period was split by lunch, and our French teacher was insane. I mean, batshit crazy. The woman, if you got her going on a tangent, you'd never get to whatever the point of the class was. So, quite frequently, we would go to the first part of class, be dismissed for lunch, and instead of going to the cafeteria like good little boys and girls, we would go to the band hall, get out to our cars, and ditch for lunch and go off campus even though we weren't supposed to. I guess it's kind of sad that that's my biggest rebel experience outside of sneaking one of my dad's cigarettes when I was 16, which was stupid as well. But yeah, I mean, really, I think my friends are every bit as close as my sister is, if not closer in some scenarios. So, I've kind of come to peace with that. We've never had that kind of relationship, and even to the point that when she got married last year, I wasn't even in her wedding. So, I love her, and she's part of my family, but we're not friends in the same sense that I think a lot of people are with their siblings. Anna's question is not fair because she stole my answer. I think everyone loves The Princess Bride. It's one of those universal movies that guys, girls, parents, kids can all watch and enjoy, and I know Brandon and I on numerous occasions have put it in and both quote back and forth constantly throughout the entire movie because I'm pretty sure we have it memorized. Another one that I couldn't say it's something I could watch anytime because it really just depends on my mood, but I've always been in love with What Dreams May Come. I think it's a beautiful film. I enjoy seeing Robin Williams in a part where he's not being just slapstick silly. He actually has some meat to the role, and he can actually show his diversity a little bit. The graphics are amazing, especially for the time. And I really, really like the theology that comes along with it. I think a lot of what I believed for a really long time kind of came from that, and that everyone's heaven was what they wanted it to be, and no one was necessarily right or wrong, but you got what you expected as long as you lived a decent life. And I think that was probably the most fair way of looking at religion, especially in high school when I was kind of questioning everything. Cody's question was, where do we get our inspiration from? And I honestly have not been creative in a long time, and that's kind of sad considering my job is to be creative. But when you're working for a company, you kind of have to do what they want you to do, not really what you would do of your own inspiration. So it's really just not the same thing. And I haven't had an art space in forever, and I got out of writing, and I honestly haven't done anything. So I'm really having to stop and reevaluate what my inspiration would be now. I mean, in college, it was always very philosophical. I liked making pieces that had deeper meanings. I mean, I wanted them to be beautiful, but I wanted there to be an underlying message or an underlying truth that someone could get out of it. Either learn something new or think of things maybe in a different way that they were before. Now, I'm honestly probably a little bit more focused on the aesthetics. Hopefully that doesn't mean my life has gotten shallower as I've gotten older, but I feel like there's enough in this world to make you question things and make you think. It's nice to have something that you can look at and simply admire for its beauty or for its grace or, for whatever you might see in it for yourself. So hopefully that kind of answers the question. I really need to think more about that and get back into what I enjoy, because I do lose a part of myself when I'm not actively participating in that process. That's another goal for this next year, I guess. For my question, I'm going to go silly since everyone's questions lately have been a little bit more serious. I want to know what kind of potato you would be if you could be any kind, and why. For me, I would probably be one of those new potatoes, little red ones, because I am short and round and red. Anyway, please be silly with it. You don't have to be serious. It's not a serious question. I look forward to hearing all your snarky little replies, and I will see all your happy little faces in the next week. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye. Sorry, I'm going to cut back in here and add that probably right here will be another good answer for Cody's sanctuary question. Look at that sunset. Isn't that pretty? It's not the prettiest one we have, but it's pretty dang gorgeous. And it's much easier driving into the sunset than it is into the actual sun. Anyway, I was going to say that when I'm in my car, and I hate driving, it's so ironic, I hate driving around, but it is the one time that I can kind of veg out when I'm not screaming at traffic. And think, calm down, relax. Usually I'm listening to audiobooks or doing something that takes my mind off the stress of traffic. And yeah, with a view like that, I mean, it's kind of hard not to relax a little bit. Can't really measure up to the landscape at Kat's home or the beach at Sarah's or Cody's snow, but you know, it's what I got. I gotta work with what I got. And if the sun is the prettiest thing in the picture, then that's what I'll take. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye.